Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Gratitude Happy Hours. Thankful Thursday. Yay, it's that time to get happy and get grateful. And I am so happy and honored that my co host is here. Hi, Karen Palmer.
Hi, Teri.
It's so good to be here with you. You know, we were doing every other week because there was another broadcast that was going on in between. But I just miss when I can't come on and do gratitude happy hours. So this is a real treat for me to be here with you and for us to shout out some gratitude. And I am so grateful for you. I just want to state that first and foremost.
So grateful for you too. And I love that we have been spending so much time when we get together for our chanting daily at night at 6 p.m. my time, 9 p.m. your time. I'm so grateful for that. It's been life-changing for me, and really our beautiful chanting family that has come from that has been incredible. And it's just like a dream come true. And you know, we've planned on just doing it for 40 days, and we're going on 54.
I know. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
We've got such a great group of people that come in and chant with us on the Zoom. And just beautiful.
It really
and
is.
It's making a difference, Karen. Let's talk about that. I'm so grateful that we decided to do it. Tell our story of how this all came to be, that we decided to do chanting online.
Well, I had been doing with the Good of the Whole, which is Good of the Whole on Facebook, Good of the Whole. They had a 40-day challenge of doing the chant Om Gam Gana Pataye Namaha, which is to remove all obstacles. And I had completed the 40 days. And we were, talking about that it was, we weren't going to be getting together anymore, and we weren't going to be doing the chanting anymore. And I said, I think I want to just continue. I think I'm just going to continue chanting. And I mentioned it to Teri that I was going to continue doing a chanting. And she said, oh, I'd like to chant with you. And I said, oh, that would be so great, because then we can be kind of like buddies. And then she said, oh, you know what, we should do it live. And I said, oh yeah, that would be great. And then we decided to do it live, and we made the decision. I'm also a member of the Sokagaya International Foundation for helping to co-create peace on earth with this wonderful chant, Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. And so I said, well, maybe we should chant both of those. And that's really how it started. And then we just decided that we would introduce it to people and see if people would like to chant along with us. And then Prachetta and her brother came in. I remember that was the first day, wasn't it, that they came in from India. And they said, oh, we're members of Sokagaya in India. And I was just like, I just knew that was such a confirmation from the angels, that we were really doing something that was really being guided from across the veil. I felt I get goosebumps when I say it. I get like, it's not even goosebumps anymore. It's like this shift of vibrational push, like, yes, that's a good thing to say right now. That's something that you've really been tuned into the inner guidance here. But across the veil, when I'm chanting, most of the time, anytime I chant, actually, I feel all of the universal forces of all the incredible spiritual beings that are no longer in their physical forms, but the Buddhas and the masters and the teachers and the guides and the ascended masters and the angels. It's like when we chant, it invites them in, and then I don't know, it just feels like it's such an uplifting time.
It is. And Karen, I think you had a little bit of a trepidation there, right? To go live and chant in front of the camera, for it to be live out on Facebook and all the
Yeah,
other social media.
yeah, I've chanted in person with people, and I've chanted in events, and I've done chanting, but I just wasn't sure how it would be received, and that's the ego. That's when human ego comes in and says, "Oh, well, you don't want to look silly, you know." And so I really checked in with that, and I chanted about it. And I realized that it really was ego. What I've found is that, I told you this before, but my old patterns and my old beliefs around religious beliefs, especially, were that, God was outside of me, and that, that I had to search for something to be worthy of something. And that was just a really old program. And the chanting has helped me to truly, truly tune in, because in Buddhism, it's not about anything outside of you. It's all about understanding that we have the power, the courage, the compassion within us. And what's made things so peaceful for me is really tuning in to that mighty beloved I am presence, and realizing that that mighty beloved I am presence never leaves. And I used to believe that I would leave, that it was that for some reason I could leave my true self, and that I got to choose, like, when I'm going to be, spiritual, or when I'm not going to be spiritual, who I could talk spiritual talk to and who I couldn't talk spiritual talk to. And I realize now that's all ego too, because we're all love and light, every one of us. Some people are, and I hate that, even the comment of some people are more evolved. I don't even like that word anymore, because nobody is more or less. And we've been taught kind of in society, that there are people who are more evolved. Well, this person's a mediumship, and this person has, psychic abilities. Well, we all have psychic abilities. We all have those gifts. It's just a matter of, do we tune into those gifts? Do we share those gifts? Do we feel comfortable expressing our gifts? And I think that I got really confused about a lot of it. And I felt really like I had to prove myself to everyone. And that was ego also,
Doesn't that go back to people pleasing?
Yeah. And also just feeling approved of, and feeling like nobody really understood my gifts. That's ego. When you say I got to be perfectly honest with you. And there's a lot of people out there that are in ego spirituality, and they call it spirituality, but it's snobby ego personality. It's not our spirit. It's not our true self. It's us trying to say, oh, you're not as evolved, you're not as awake as I am. Like, when you tell somebody they're not as awake as you are completely asleep. And so I realized that when you find fault in others, it's really about your own issues that you haven't looked at yourself. And so chanting for me has given me self-respect, more courage, more honesty within myself, just my true self. My relationships have all improved because of it. I feel more confident in the way that I express myself. And I also don't feel like I have to check in so much. That I'm already merged with my beloved I am presence. It doesn't go away. Like,
Right.
and so many people have commented on that, have commented on that and said, that they've seen such a difference in the way that I was just so confused about how to keep everybody happy and how to please everyone. And it became an addiction. And, I've learned that I have an addictive personality. I mean, and first it was with drugs, then it was with alcohol, then it was with men. It's always been, there's always been some kind of an addictive personality there, but that's not my true self either, right?
Right. Right.
So that's what's so cool about when we do this, when we have this time together and we chant, because it helps us to all really raise the vibration for the planet, but also it helps us to feel like more supported. And I feel like with us in our circle, when we're chanting, I don't feel like I have to explain myself, or I don't feel like there's anybody needs to understand anything anymore. And I don't find myself explaining things anymore either.
Right. Yeah. And feeling like you have to teach others that don't know. So yeah, it all goes back to that people pleasing, wanting to make everybody happy. And, what if they don't like it? What if they don't like me? What if they don't understand it? So, you get that criticism. But we have to step away from that when we're living our path. We have to just really focus on what's important, why we're here, what we're doing, and what we're learning. And I'm so grateful for the journey that I'm on. I'm grateful for everything that's happened in my life, everything. And those times when it felt uncomfortable, when there were, was more of the contrast, those were the times when I had the biggest spiritual growth. So I'm even grateful for all of those experiences. And, I'm here because of all of them. I'm the person I am because of all those experiences and those lessons. So I am grateful. And you've been a big part of that, Karen. So I'm just really thankful that our paths crossed and we have done as much as we have together over the years. It's been a blessing.
I'm so grateful for that too, and learning so much more about the acceptance level. When we have self-acceptance, we have freedom. Really, really, it's the truth. And what my goal in this is going to probably segue into what I'm doing with the children. My goal has always been, and I had to really come back to this because I got so lost in what do I want? What does my true soul, my true self really want to be expressing in the world? Because I was trying to be everything for everybody. I was like, like Miss Kindness became this almost personality, like identity that was taking over my life. And I was trying to just keep up with, how can I be Miss Kindness to everyone? How can I, keep everyone? I mean, everybody wanted me on their shows. Everybody wanted me, to help them with their projects. Everybody wanted me to be their ambassador, and this international ambassador and this spokesperson and this. And I was just like, okay, this is great. I want to be everything for everybody. And before
you're the yes girl.
Yes, girl. and before I knew it, I just had burnt out, completely burnt out. And it was constant. It was a constant experience of trying to swim upstream and, trying to prove, oh yeah, I can do that. Oh yes, I can do that. Oh yes, I can do that. And really getting to the core issue. This was all from my childhood. it's all from my childhood, all this core issue of not being enough and not doing enough and not pleasing everybody, not performing, not, not keeping everybody happy. And, I watched this really awesome video of Jim Carrey. And Jim Carrey was talking about how his mom was mentally ill, and she had very, very severe depression. And that's how he became a comedian, because he would watch like Jack Benny and he would watch Bob Hope, and you can even see his mannerisms in the way that he presents himself when he's doing a comedy thing. You can see a lot of Jack Benny, you can see a lot of the Bob Hope that he took on those personas. And he was saying that, and this is why I'm sharing this with people, is because we take on a certain persona, and we take on we put on this garment, and we put on this like this costume, this mask, this version of ourself that helps us. It's like a defense mechanism, and it's like a defense. It's a way to keep ourselves protected. Like, as long as I kept everybody happy, as long as I was pleasing everybody, nobody hurt me.
Right.
And I'm a survivor of abuse. And so those patterns live in the cells of our lives. And until we actually do the clearing of that, it's like literally in our DNA.
Yeah, it is. And we have to bring it up. We have to feel it before we can go in and heal that.
And how do you look back, and how can, this is where I believe self-acceptance is our freedom, and forgiveness is the key to happiness. Because if I can look back at all of my lessons as blessings, and look at all the people who hurt me, mistreated me, all the people who disrespected me as part of the experience of waking me up to my true self, that's gratitude happy hour right there. That's great. That's Thankful Thursday, right? That's flipping the belief. That's so, it's so crazy to me when I think about how much I've overcome, how many horrific experiences I've been through, that I've been able to help hundreds of thousands of people by sharing my stories, by sharing my my authenticity and sharing my transparency. But the truth was, it was all a false sense of security, because I was still relying on outside sources to keep me safe. And I was keeping everybody happy, and everybody was, everything was going well until I couldn't keep everybody happy anymore. And until everybody just kind of said, well, you're not doing what you should. I hate that word should. And when people tell me I'm not doing what I should do, I say, don't should all over me. That's the first thing I say now. When somebody says, oh, Karen, you should. And I go, just don't should all over me anymore. I'm not there anymore. I'm not jumping through hoops anymore. I'm not interested in pleasing anymore. I'm not interested. We're all in charge of our own happiness.
And you're not meeting their expectations.
Yeah, so and I've let go of expectations of others. And I've let go of, I've let go of that.
The expectations, we're setting ourselves up to be disappointed, aren't we?
Absolutely. So, really letting go of those old patterns from my childhood, and just knowing and just being so sure now, the past can't touch me. it can't bother me, only in my mind. And so that is the most powerful thing that we have. The truth corrects all errors in our mind. So once we correct those errors in our mind, the whole outside, all the externals start to change, and the patterns break and the cycles stop, and we are able to, that's why I'm so passionate about helping children, because I feel that if I learned these things in my childhood, I would have had many, many different experiences. And I'm in no way, shape, or form am I complaining about my experiences, because I've been able to help hundreds of thousands of people, women, children, teenagers, by being empathetic and being able to help, So I wouldn't take any of it back. I wouldn't take any of it back. And what I do feel, though, is we have an incredible opportunity as a society right now, especially now that we have this distant learning for the kids. I've been working with amazing app developers that are creating programs that are experiential education. And the experiential education is experience as education, right?
Right. Yes, I want to hear about this.
So one of the, I'm a singer and a songwriter, and I design musical coloring books. And so I have all these different educational musical coloring books that are being turned into apps. So they're being turned into experiences for teachers. And I have all my music that is downloadable on SoundCloud, so the teachers can, free, it's all free. They can go to SoundCloud and they can download the music, and then they can start the day with all namaste, start the day the namaste way, which I love. And namaste is, I see the kindness in you and you see the kindness in me. I see the goodness in you, you see the goodness in me. I believe in you and you believe in me. And so I've been talking to the children about this for over a year, and I've gone into schools for 19 years. I've been going into the schools, and it started when my daughter was 5, and now she's 24. And I started a nonprofit organization that is dedicated to environmental education, animal advocacy, kindness, compassion, and peace education. And so now I'm working with global organizations, big global organizations like Compassion Games and We the World and the 7 Days of Rest and Interfaith Harmony Week. And I'm working with all of these organizations to create programs. So there'll be a year-long program that teachers and parents and counselors will be able to download, and they'll be able to get this program. So it's at kokoriapp.com. And right now you can sign up to get a membership. So you'll have, they're even offering, I think up until a certain point in August, they're offering a lifetime membership that you can sign up for. They're only going to offer, I think, a few more of those, but there's been such a wonderful, wonderful amount of feedback from all of the teachers and the superintendents. And what they're doing is when one person buys a lifetime membership, a certain amount of lifetime membership, then they are donating lifetime memberships to villages that are underprivileged, and so that they will be able to have the access to these beautiful quality education programs. And so I'm just honored. I'm just
so cool.
I'm so honored and so humbled to even be able to have something that can be so beneficial to so many children. And I think that, one of the biggest things for me, and why I got involved, why I even started in all of this, was I wanted to see a kinder world. I wanted to see a kinder world. I wanted to see a world where people treated each other with respect and dignity. I wanted to see a world where people felt that they had equality. And I feel like we're getting there. I feel like we're moving in that direction. I know it doesn't look like it on the surface right now, but what's important is where we put our focus. And my focus right now, and the angels have always said, focus, follow one course until successful. My focus right now is directly, really completely focused on working with children and animals. And that's something we can lean into too, because we have our Time Heals for Animals, and we're going to be creating online courses for that.
We sure are. And, I think that everything that we're doing right now is just bringing that cohesion into the world. It's people that are starting to just see that there's more than just this human body.
Yeah.
There's more to life than what's in front of your eyes. And so a lot of people are seeing that they can be more kind. They can do those little random acts of kindness for someone else. You can hold a door. You can say a kind word. And you can even smile, even though that mask is covering your mouth.
You can see it in the eyes.
Absolutely.
You can see when somebody's smiling under a mask, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's your attitude. It's the way you're behaving that shows your kindness, that shows your smile. So yeah, I think, Karen, I really believe that there's a shift and that there's a lot happening, and we're so focused on what's going wrong. That's what the media wants us to focus on. That's what all the news flashes and everything just come up and show you the worst. Wouldn't it be great to see a news flash that really showed you the great stuff that's going on?
Well, we did that with World Unity Week. That whole week was all about the good stuff happening, and over 5 million people have been touched by that, and counting. It keeps growing. That's like my song. It's growing and growing the more we speak. Kindness, compassion, it's at its peak. I challenge you, you challenge me. We are one global family. There's unity in all we seek. So spread this wide and find a way. Do something kind every day. When I wrote that song, and that was a channeled song. That whole experience was a channeled experience. I've been able to really look back on it with the witness, with my observer, with my I am presence, and understand it in a way that it just kind of took on a whole snowball effect. It was amazing, because the vision, the idea, it got, the angels explained to me that we receive through our crown. We get the idea, we receive. We have to believe it with our heart. Once we believe it with our heart, then we achieve it through our hands. And then we open the floodgates for all the angels, the ascended masters, all of our loved ones who have left their physical body, all of the incredible beings of love and light who have left their physical body, that were musicians, that were artists, that were, we open the floodgates. And that's what you and I talked about. That's how we actually came into becoming friends, was because we were both receiving messages, and we called it the Council of Kindness. I called it the Council of Kindness, and you agreed that you felt that you were getting messages from the Council of Kindness too. When I looked back over it and I, was able to look from a witnessing and observing perspective, I was shown that when I made the wish for global kindness to go viral, that was an intention. And when we set an intention with a pure heart, it opens us to our I am presence. And our I am presence is connected to all that is. So, because I didn't really understand what was going on. Like, I was getting messages from Maya Angelou and from Elvis and from, George Harrison, and you were too. And we were both getting the same messages. And that's how we ended up we started to do a radio show. And again, Jack Benny, Bob Hope, these beautiful beings were coming to me. And I was like, the human self, Karen, my human self, was going, why me? Wayne Dyer came and said, you're going to start doing live stream. I didn't even know how to do live stream at that point. And we're going to help you. We're going to help you
learn together.
Yeah, we're going to help you. We're going to help you with everything, all the technology. And that's why I called myself an angelic marketing strategist, right. Because they said, you're going to help the other angels. You're going to help the other earth angels. You're going to help all the people who are open to receiving the truth that peace on earth is possible. And not only is it possible, it's happening. Mm-hmm. Right. And so when that started happening, it's like that, all of those processes,
everything falls into place. It's all a piece of the puzzle.
That was it. That was it. Yeah. That was it, Teri. I had puzzle pieces all over the place. Mm-hmm. And that's what it means about Miss Kindness. That's what, when Miss Kindness came into my physical form, she came into me, I became Miss Kindness. Mm-hmm. But I hadn't integrated the frequency into my human self. So my human self couldn't handle all of what was going on. And so it's taken, like that was in 2014. So it's taken about 6 years for me to really integrate and find balance in my human condition and my true self. It's been evolving and changing and expanding and growing, just like it's growing and growing the more we speak. Yeah. And so, the more that I became comfortable and self-accepting, the easier it was for me to say no to other people. Right. And not feel like I was disappointing everybody. Mm-hmm. It's hard to say no when you love what you're doing.
Yeah, when you're living your passion, but at the same time, you have to take care of yourself.
Absolutely.
You have to do the self-care and the self-love and set those boundaries, the healthy boundaries.
Healthy boundaries is so key. It's so important. I was talking to my daughter about that today, and I said, that's the most important thing, I think, in all relationships, is creating those healthy boundaries and having a clear set boundary of, this is what I'm planning on doing, and this is what I'm hoping you would do. And if you're not going to do that, please let me know now so that I can plan for something else. Not putting more expectations on others, but really making it clear, that when we are working together and collaborating on things, being very clear in, this is what I plan to do and what do you plan to do, you know, because I felt like, again, when I started back in 2015, when I started the Global Peace United, that was when I met Harold and John and you, and we met with Bob Miller, and I was just putting together the organizations of the founders, the people who started these organizations. And I was being shown that we were going to be the hub, and we were going to be the wheel of all of this coming together. And we were going to teach people how to collaborate, and we were going to help people to know how to co-create and to be able to collaborate where everyone benefits.
Mm-hmm. And that's what it's calling for today, that
Mm-hmm.
collaboration. You know, we can only do so much as one person, but when we join with another, that doubles what we can do. And then if we're with a bigger network, it really goes out more into the world. And so that's where we're at today. You know,
Right. Well, look at Sign, you know, the Sign Network. We started that with 10 people, and now there's over 300 organizations. Same thing with Unity Earth. It, you know, it began with everyone. See, this is what's so important. It's like what you were saying. Everyone, every single person is part of the jigsaw puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
Every single person
So
is a piece of the puzzle. And what we have done as a society, and I don't want to sound like I'm blaming our society, but I think that if we don't learn from things, we repeat them. And what we have done as a society is what Wayne Dyer explained to me in the very beginning, is we pedestal and we put certain people above others.
Mm-hmm.
And we, you know, he's a best-selling author, she's you know, a talk show host,
labels,
a Grammy-winning singer, and you know, and we put all of these things into certain boxes, like you're this and you're that and you're this and you're that. And what we've done as a society, and I hope with all my heart that we can really change this cycle by really seeing one another as valuable pieces of the puzzle. You're not more important than me. I'm not more important than you. We are valuable pieces of the puzzle. And I think that, yeah, and I feel like many people, there's so many people on the planet right now who feel inferior or superior.
But just think, Karen, think about it when you're working a puzzle. If you're missing one piece, that puzzle is incomplete.
Yeah.
So everybody is equally important. Your piece of the puzzle is just as important as every other piece in there.
Absolutely.
And without it, we don't have a complete picture. So yeah, I love seeing it that way. And I want to say hello to Prachetta.
Hi, Prachetta. We have the same birthday.
I know. She mentioned that the other day. I think that's so awesome.
I know. It makes a lot of sense too, because you know, we have a lot in common.
Yes. Yeah, she's absolutely beautiful. So thank you for joining us today, Prachetta. We're talking about gratitude and living our passion, you know, doing those things that we know we're here to do. And that's a big part of what we've done together, Karen. We've co-created so much from out of that passion, out of that desire to really bring more light out into the world. And one of the things that we've done recently is work with animals and animal energy and helping to share with people. You really can communicate with your animal. You really can know when there's something wrong. They're going to give you signs. If they're happy, they're going to give you signs. If they're ready to transition out of that body, they're going to give you signs.
Right.
So this this project that we did became a book, and it is something that we will be training people in how to do, how to know more about what that is that your animal is saying to you. So animal communication, how to care for them, how to know, when something's wrong or when something's good, and then how to bring healing into that animal using their energy centers. And they do have energy centers just like we do.
Mhm.
You're not that different from us. So yeah, so I'm excited about that. And
The
we'll
thing
make
that's
it.
different about them for me, that was for the animals, and they are teachers to me, and very strong lessons have come from the work that I've done as a conscious dog trainer. One of the most important lessons that I think I've learned from dogs in particular, cats too though, because my cat teaches me a lot too.
Oh yeah.
But the dogs that I've worked with is, what if every human realized that the animal in their life is there for specific spiritual lessons, and we really paid attention to what those lessons might be. For my lucky girl, it was to live unconditionally and love unconditionally, to be forgiving, to be in the moment, and just spread joy. And what if every human realized that's your purpose, why that animal is in your life? What if we all woke up and knew, not just believed, but had certainty that that animal, my lucky girl was with me for 18 years and 2 months. When she left her physical body, it was complete devastation for me.
Oh,
I honestly couldn't pick my head up off the pillow. I couldn't look in my backyard for a really long time. But her spirit was guiding me, and her spirit was I wasn't open to receive at that point because I was so devastated. But once I was able to get more tuned in and really tune into my own heart, I realized you can't lose. You can't lose when you truly love. You can never lose because they live in our hearts. This is our loved ones, our parents, our grandparents, our siblings. When you truly, truly love. But the animals, it's so much easier for us to feel unconditional love because we're humans and we've got conditions.
yeah.
We've got certain ways that we think certain people, well, you should be acting like this, and I don't understand why she's not acting like this. She always acted like that, and now she doesn't want to act like that anymore. And we put those expectations and those conditions on each other. But with the animals, they don't put those conditions and those expectations on us. So when we have the illusion of losing the physical form, that unconditional love that we feel we're losing is devastating.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you felt that with your kitties.
Oh my gosh, I had both of them for 19 years.
I know.
One for almost 20 years. And yeah, it was so heartbreaking to let them go. I just had a really hard time with that. So it is something that happens. And like I said, they'll tell us. They'll tell us when it's their time and they need to move on. But I really feel, Karen, that they come back. They come back in a different form, and they'll guide us.
Absolutely.
Finding where they are. And I've seen that happen many times.
Not only do they come back in a different form, they come back through us. Like the work that I've been doing with animals for all the years that I've been doing was because of Lucky. Lucky left her physical body in 2008. I started I expanded my nonprofit organization to include animal services in 2010. In 2010, I started working with animal rescue. And because I'd always wanted to, my whole life, I always knew I had this gift to connect with animals. I could hear them, I could feel them, I could put my hand on their heart, and I would see movies like clairvoyance. And so when I had the opportunity to start working with animals, my lucky girl, her spirit came through me, and there was this peaceful energy that I couldn't describe or explain, and people who I was working with, their animals, would say, like, it's magic. You seem to be like, why did they listen to you and not me? And how are you doing that? Like, that seems like magical. And it is sort of magical, but it's practical magical too, because right. when we tune in to our essence self, animals resonate with that. They feel that love. And our animals are pure love and pure joy. And they're helping us humans to remember we're pure love and pure joy too. And that's why they have come into our experience. And many people miss that opportunity because they think they give their dog back to the shelter after, they say, no, my dog has all these behavior issues. It's really not about the dog. It's you have behavior issues. And the dog is mirroring, and the dog is mirroring that for you. Exactly. And you're blaming this sweet little animal and sending it back to a shelter when honestly you have a huge opportunity here to grow.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So now we're giving them the roadmap. So now we have the book, we have the Time Heals for Animals, and we've taken all of our secrets and we've put them all together in one book. And we're going to take that book and create online courses and certification programs where we can really expand this work out so everyone can have that relationship with the animals in their life. And, we all deserve that.
Mm-hmm. We do. We're a spark of the divine. We all come from God. So we deserve the best. We deserve happiness and joy and going and playing on the playground.
Yeah. I know I always say the divine in our canine and our feline, the divine in our canine and our feline, they help us to remember the divine in us. And it's so much easier with animals, we all know that, right?
It's just, it is. It's much easier.
It's so much, there's just this connected essence that is, I'm going to change that story. I don't like that story so much anymore. I believe that we all have that opportunity to connect with that essence in the human condition also, in the human experience, in the human person. It's not easier with the animals. That's just another illusion. That's just another belief, like limiting belief. We can flip that belief. Like I'm flipping it right now. As I heard it coming out of my mouth, our words are our wand. And as I hear something coming out of my mouth, I did a thing 3 years ago. I did a show 3 years ago and that came up on Facebook, and I was just watching it and I was like, oh my God, it was all about self-talk. And I was listening to it and I was like, wow, that was really smart. Like, I didn't know, I forgot about that, and I love that Facebook does that. Sometimes they bring us back to a moment. And, but one of the things that you want to ask yourself is when something's coming out of your mouth and something clicks in your head that says, not that story anymore. That's not true anymore. That's not, you know, that's, ask yourself, is this serving me and the planet? Does this serve me? Does this thought serve me and our planet? Because if you're telling yourself a story of spiritual people don't really make a lot of money, that's an old story.
Old story. Yeah.
And that's your wand.
Yeah.
Your word is becoming your wand, you know, or I just do it for the love of it. I don't do it for the money. That's an old story.
Right.
And when we find ourselves catching that, you know, that's really powerful.
It is so powerful. Yeah. So we create with our words.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you want to create?
Yeah.
If you want to create a life of joy and abundance and happiness, then, you know, you start speaking that. You speak it into existence.
Absolutely.
And I love that. I love how that works. I'm looking at the clock and it's 5:55, which is a change.
Yeah.
And all about change. And that's what we're doing. We're changing things around in ourselves, in our world. We are chanting for change every night. And I see it.
And we have a wonderful group on Facebook that has really grown. And it's a beautiful family. Everyone's welcome to come in and join us in Chanting for Change. And we put the link in for the Zoom link so you can come right into the room, and everyone's welcome to come in and chant with us. And it's been wonderful. But as we go into this change, I want to just end with something really, really sweet. As you find yourself in one moment wandering into the old story or the old pattern, just bring your hand to your heart and say, stop. Self, take over, please. And then think in your mind, wait, what am I thinking? And have hope, have only positive expectations. Those 3 flips, those 3 acronyms will catch any old programs, any old patterns. We all have them. We all have conditioning that has been programmed into us, just like a remote control. And people can push our buttons until we dissolve those buttons. And somebody pushes that button and they look at you and they're like, well, that didn't bother you. So here, I'm going to give it even harder to you. And you don't let that button be pushed again. They stop pushing, they stop trying to push your buttons. And you find that they are growing because of your letting go of the illusion that there's something different between you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So that's my last bit. Remember that you find yourself overwhelmed, frustrated, even the littlest, tiniest bit of irritation, hands to the heart, self take over, please. Because if we catch ourselves in that moment and we bring ourselves out of the busyness of our head and into our heart, we get into that unified field. We get into the field, and we can completely change that pattern. And then we stop ourselves and we wait, what am I thinking? Do I want more of that? Oh no, I don't want more of that. Or yes, I want more of that. Okay, hope, have only positive expectations. Look at it and play with it and have fun with it, like we used to do with the 17 seconds and then 34 seconds and then 64 seconds. And before you know it, you're co-creating with all the universal forces.
That's all it takes.
All it takes.
Intention, set your intention. Karen, I'm so happy that you came on with me today. Thank you for being here.
Oh,
and
yeah.
If you're watching this on the live or the replay, just reach out to us if you want more information about Time Heals for Animals or about Kikori that Karen is involved with, to go into the schools and teach these kids And Karen, you're doing such magnificent work. Thank you. Thank you for
Thank
all that
you.
you do. And thank you to everyone that came on. And we'll be on in a few more hours. 3 hours from now, we'll be on Chanting for Change. And
Yay.
you want to check that out. There's a group on Facebook, Chanting for Change, and you can come on and be with us on Zoom or just chant along with us. And we always have something exciting and uplifting going on here at Enlightened World Network. So check out the schedule. It's posted every day on our page, and you can see all the wonderful programs we do. Thank you all so much for being with us. Karen, I love you, my sister.
I
Thank
love
you
you
for being
too.
here. Bye, everybody.